What it do, YouTube? It's SS, and I'm back with another video on this one right here. This one right here. Well, let me tell you about this one. As you guys can see right there, I'm actually powering up this Blaziken right now. I powered it up. I didn't get the power ups, but believe me, I did make it just for this video. I did power it up. Not only did I only power up this Blaziken, I also powered up a Castform. As you guys can see, the Castform out here doing work up against this Swampert, and yeah, I did do these battles on Twitch. So if you would like to follow me on Twitch, link in the description. Also, I will be linking the Discord if you guys do want to join the Discord. Go Battle Weekend is this weekend, so I will be probably doing my sets in Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, make sure to be up in there. But either way, as you guys see, I am powering up this shiny Castform, and yeah, I went pretty good with it. I did it 14-11. Had two negative sets, 1-0 and 5, and then a 2-3. But despite that, I did go I did have three sets that were 4-1s, and not only that, um this is a new team. I have never used it before. The only Pokemon I have actually used before was Credilli, and that was because I hit Legend with it. If you guys haven't seen that video, I will also link it in the description. But Blaziken, I've never used the Shadow variant, and I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need to have you can have frustration on your Blaziken because all you need is Blaze Kick, to be honest. So you don't really need to have Brave Bird. There's probably one time that I tried to go for the Brave Bird, but even then I ended up getting KO'd, which you guys will see eventually in one of these battles. But I got three sets for you guys today. So with that being said, well, remember to like, comment, subscribe as well, and we're gonna leave another like goal. If we can get 15 to 20 likes, that would be cool. Once again, we are a small channel, we're trying to grow, so if you guys could show some love, that would be very much appreciated. And now let's get into these battles. So we see that they come into a Flygon, and at this point I'm kind of like, okay, well, they might not shield this, but if we get the damage, it might be good. But they do end up shielding it, and now they're going to go straight for the farm down, which is not looking really good for us. But at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and sack my Blaziken, and they go straight for the Dragon Claw, which is fine with me. Now they switch out into the Marstomp, and then I got my Credilli up against their Marstomp. So at this point, they can throw these moves at me, and I'm going to overfarm a little bit. But as you see, I try to tap the move, but they were already at the move. So I'm going to do one more Bullet Seed, and then we're close to the back-to-back. So at this point, I can KO this Marstomp, and then now I can get to another Grass Knot, and Flygon's going to be KO'd as well, and we're going to be able to take that game. So like I said, this is a fun team, so I wouldn't really run it, but I did end up seeing somebody running one of my teams, which was pretty cool. And now we're gonna see Steelix into our Blaziken. They do swap out into Jump Pluff, and I know this Jump Pluff is running Aerial Ace. There's no way that they're not running Aerial Ace, right? But then I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Blaze Kick here, and they do end up shielding. Since they shielded, I'm gonna go into my Castform. Now at this point, I am gonna go ahead and let this go through. Solar Beam, Energy Ball. Okay, it is the Energy Ball. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Weather Ball here. And key thing here is that it's Rock Weather Ball, because there is Fire types, Flying types, and what else that's super effective against it? Ice types. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have the Rock Weather Ball. And at this point, I'm just gonna spam out the Rock Weather Ball on the Steelix. Do they shield? They don't want to shield, which is fine. So now I'm gonna come into my Blaziken, and then they swap out instantly into a Talonflame. And if this is fine, I need to call a bait here. It is the Flame Charge, so now I'm gonna be able to actually get to this almost to back rock slides. They do end up letting it go, which is kind of weird, but okay, whatever. So now at this point, I am gonna go start throwing out these grass nuts, and I do believe this that we live this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let it go through, and then I'm going to under tap, hit the grass knot, and then we're gonna get it off. Do they shield? They do end up shielding at this point. Now I'm just gonna come into my Blaziken, and we get to the Blaze Kick, and we're gonna be able to take this game. So Blaziken is super glassy. You have to watch how you play it out, because there were the ones I went 0 and 5, or the negative sets, were because obviously I don't know how to use the team yet, still new to it. But I did make it work. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah. So we see that they had a Steelix in the lead. They do end up swapping it out for their Vigoroth, which is fine. So I'm going to be able to make it to this Blaze Kick here, I do end up shielding, and then they don't end up shielding, which is fine. Steelix is super low at this point that I feel like I can actually hex it down. And if I'm not able to actually hex it down, what is going to be able to happen is that I'm just going to make them spend their energy here. I'm gonna come out with quite a few energy on my Castform. Down. I'm gonna switch out into Credilli, get the farm down. They do end up staying in. They got a Trevenant in the back, and now at this point, this is a pretty good matchup for Credilli. Actually, as you can see that they end up shielding there, and I'm just gonna go for the bad timing, but it ends up being CMP, which is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and shield just in case it was the Shadow Ball, but it's not the Shadow Ball, so that's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Rock Slide, and as you guys see, that Rock Slide does a lot. So at this point, I'm expecting them to go Shadow Ball, but they don't go Shadow Ball. They actually go for the Seed Bomb. So that makes me get to the next Rock Slide, and we're not even going to need Castform at this point, and we're going to be able to KO. So uh, now we're gonna hop into the next battle. We're gonna see Blaziken into Pidgeot. This is super bad. We don't want to see Pidgeot here. And I make a mistake staying in here. Like I said, this is the first set that I did play this team with. We do go 4-1 on the first two sets, and then the negative sets did happen on the third and fourth. And then the last one we do end up going 4-1 once again. So you see that they do debuff me. They come to a Steelix at this point, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and go for the energy ball, hoping I can get a defense drop, but I don't get no defense drop. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and let this go because it's another breaking swipe. There's no point in me shielding it. So I'm gonna go for the next energy ball. What do they want to do? Do they want to shield? They don't want to shield, which is fine. And I don't make it to another one, so I'm just gonna throw this chip damage here, and obviously it's not gonna be very effective. And then now at this point, there's really nothing I can do, so I just come into my Blaziken here. I'm gonna go ahead and shield, and it is the breaking swipe feels bad. Now I'm gonna go ahead and double shield here, hoping that I can actually put it in range where I can farm it down. We do end up catching, which is not ideal. Probably should have threw with Blaziken, to be honest. Now they're gonna come into the Pidgeot and they could just freely Brave Bird me here. Let's see, do they Brave Bird me? No, they go for the Feather Dance, which is fine. So I'm just gonna go do one Bullet Seed and throw for good timing. And the Rock Slide is not enough to KO. So at this point, yeah, this is kind of over for me. Now they have to shield if they do want to shield at this point. I'm expecting Swampert in the back. But unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to do anything here because they do Brave Bird me here. And then now one wing attack is going to be enough to KO my Blaziken. And as you guys see, this is a 4-1. And now we're going to be able to catch this steel type, this steel flying type Skarmory. I am messing up a lot, my bad. Now we're gonna see, we do go up a little bit, and I'm like, what? That's like only 10 points for like a 4-1. That's crazy. And now we're gonna see a Psychic Finger user Girafarig in the lead. They do have double kicks, so it makes it a little bit easier for me. Now I'm going to catch the next one on my Castform. Could have been catching it on either or, doesn't really matter. Because whatever's going to happen is that either one of the back mons is gonna bait out the Vigoroth, which as you see, we do end up baiting out the Vigoroth. At this point, I know that they're gonna go straight for the farm down, so I just want any and every chip damage. I wasn't gonna make it to the energy ball. So now I'm just gonna go straight into my Credilli, expecting them to go for the body slam right away. And they actually do end up going for the body slam right away. They throw back to back. I'm hoping this is a body slam, but no, they're running brick break, which is cool of them. And now I'm gonna try to farm down, and I shouldn't have did that. And this is where I actually try to go for the Brave Bird, but they end up shielding. And look, that was I don't know. That was weird. I didn't think that was gonna be enough to KO, but apparently it was enough to KO. And at this point, I just stopped tapping because there's nothing I can do. If I would have got the Blaze Kick off, maybe there was something we could have did, but yeah, unfortunate for me, I actually ended up playing it super bad. We were kind of really stuck in that matchup. Now we're gonna see Trevenant into our Blaziken, which is kind of not of a good lead. I'm just gonna go straight for the Blaze Kick here, and then I'm gonna swap out into my Credilli because I know that I can actually do some pretty good damage up against this Trevenant. I'm going to shield, which is a potential Shadow Ball. Now I'm expecting to come into like a Vigoroth, or in this case, it's a double, and I go for the wrong move. I should have went for the Grass Knot. I don't know what I was doing there. Now I go for the CMP time, which is not ideal, but it is just a body slam, so maybe they have they're running Wild Charge on it. And this Grass Knot is not enough to KO. So if I would have went Grass Knot, pretty sure I could have put it in range where I farmed down, where I wouldn't have to take this body slam, but now I do undercharge it, hoping I can at least try to get a little bit more farm, but we don't, and now their Trevin is gonna get a lot of farm. But lucky for us, we have a normal type in the back that's running Hex. So as you can see, it does live the the seed bomb. Now I'm gonna throw the weather ball. I'm gonna swap out into my Blaziken here at this point, and I'm hoping that I shouldn't have did that low key. I should have just went for the extra move. Now at this point, I have to shield this and I have to try to farm down completely. No, I don't go for the farm down. I actually just end up throwing because I don't want any more damage because the seed bomb at this point is going to be super close to KOing, but we do double resist the shadow claws. So if we can make it to a weather ball here, we're going to be able to take this game. And because we resist the shadow claws, we're actually able to make it to the weather ball and take that game. So now we're gonna hop into the next battle. We're gonna see Blaziken into Gliscor, and this is not looking good for us, right? So I end up swapping out immediately, and then they stay in. This is CMP, which is actually really good for me. So now they're either gonna have to shield or they're going to have to let this go through, and we'll see what they want to do. Do they want to shield? They don't want to shield, which is fine. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try to get to the next move. I'm expecting this to be another nice slice, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let it go through. And now I'm at the rock weather ball. So let's see, do they want to shield this time? They do want to shield, which is fine. Now I don't make it to another move. Maybe I should have shielded, but either way, that's fine. I'm gonna come into my Credilli at this point, and then I'm hoping that they don't go for the earthquake here. Let's see what do they throw. They actually do end up throwing the earthquake when it's not looking good for us. But and then I end up letting them get through incinerate with throwing on bad timing, but they sack it. They end up sacking it. At this point, I'm trying to swap out because I know they're gonna come into their Gliscor, and at this point, I can just double shield and farm down completely this Swampert, and we're just gonna be able to take that game. So I kind of expected there to be a Swampert in the back, and so I ended up doing that play. Now we're gonna see Swampert in the lead, which is not good for me, but we're gonna stay in, and then we're gonna try to catch on our Credilli, which we do end up catching on our Credilli, and the Hydro Cannon doesn't really do that much damage. Then they swap out into a Talonflame, and I'm like, okay. But either way, I'm gonna go for the Rock Slide here. Do they want to shield? They do end up shielding. That's fine with me. Now I'm going to go ahead and shield as well, and then I'm going to throw my next move. At this point, they can actually shield this and then just farm down completely. I don't think I will make it to another move. We'll see. Do we make it to another move? I'm just going to go ahead and sack it this time because I do want to keep the shield for my Blaziken. And then they're down shields, which is fine. So now I'm going to come into my Blaziken, and then I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird here. And since Castform does have Energy Ball, we're going to be able to do some damage here. Now, they come into a Pidgeot as they swap out of their Swampert lead, and then now I'm going to go ahead and call this. If it's a Brave Bird, it's fine. They do end up brave birding, and I try to overfarm just a tad bit, hoping I can probably make it to a move here up against the Swampert, but we don't. And now at this point, I just need to get to the Blaze Kick. We make it to the Blaze Kick on CMP, and this is going to be enough to KO this Swampert. Could have probably, no, I don't know, maybe not farm down because I needed to go for the CMP. And now we're going to see another good lead for our Blaziken, which is really good. So they're going to stay in. And at this point, a lot of them were throwing on 4. As you see, this one actually threw on 4 Dragon Tails. So I do make it to the Blaze Kick on CMP. And then I'm going to shield as well since they shielded. And now I expect them to swap out into a Vigoroth, which they do. I'm going to double shield here because if the Steelix is low where a Grass Knot is enough to KO. So if I can get the other shield and I don't, they actually stop tapping here, which is really good play of them. Now they're going to be able to farm down with their Trevenant, but unlucky for them, I have a normal type, so they can't Shadow Ball me. And as you guys see, these hexes are doing so much damage to this Trevenant, and they're going to need to throw another seed bomb. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and stay in. We CMP them on the energy ball. Do they want to shield? They don't want to shield, which is fine. So now at this point, I do believe I'm just going to go swap out into my Credilli, try to get this farm down. And do we get the farm down before they make it to a breaking swipe? We don't. They actually make it to a breaking swipe, which is fine. But because this Trevenant is so low now at this point, the debuff is not actually going to matter. We do make it to another rock slide, and this rock slide should be enough to KO from this point, and it does, and we are able to end up winning that game. So now we're gonna, okay, that's the next 4-1, as you see. Taking my time to redeem it. We get a nice little Toxapex, and we do climb up a little bit, and then now we're gonna see a bad lead. So what do? I end up swapping right, and I fat fingered it. Wasn't fast enough with the swap. I'm gonna go for the grass knot here on the Vigoroth, and I'm expecting them to go straight body slam, maybe even a bulldoze. They do go for the bulldoze, but we do make it to the um grass knot here, and it's enough to KO the Vigoroth. And now at this point, I come into my Castform up against this Pidgeot. They can Brave Bird me if they like. They go for the Feather Dance, which is fine. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw these Rock Weather Balls at this Pidgeot. And this is why you want Rock Weather Ball, because of the super effective on the flying types. Now I'm gonna go with Shield, thinking it's a Brave Bird, but they don't go for the Brave Bird. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the next Rock Weather Ball. We're so debuffed at this point, and I make it to another one. Do they want to shield at this point? They don't want to shield, which is fine. And I'm going to go ahead and let this go through. If it's the Brave Bird, so be it. It is the Brave Bird. And at this point, there's nothing I can do here. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this go through, because I needed another shield to be able to farm down this Swampert. But even then, I don't even think it would have been enough to farm it down. So now we're going to see a good lead. Steelix into our Blaziken, and I expect them to throw in 4, but they actually don't. They go for the good timing, which is fine with me. So now I'm going to go ahead and farm up extra energy. I'm going to shield this, even though most likely it's a breaking swipe, but they go for the Earthquake, and I'm like, what? Okay, that's fine. And now they come into a Vigoroth, so I'm just going to throw it right away. If we can get the damage on it, that's nice. No, now it's going to be in range where we can just throw a Grass Knot. I do overfarm. They don't end up throwing, which is kind of weird, and then they end up sacking it. They come into a Trevenant, and at this point, this Trevenant doesn't even know that we have a normal type in the bag. They are not going to be able to do anything to the normal type. So at this point, we do end up making it to another move. Do they want to shield? They do want to shield. Now we swap out into our Castform, and Castform is just going to be able to wall this Trevenant. It's not going to be able to do anything. I'm at the move, so I'm just under tap it and get this rock weather ball off, and we're gonna be able to actually take that game. So now we're gonna hop into the next battle. We're gonna see Steelix into our Blaziken, another Steelix, and then at this point they end up swapping out into a Talonflame. I think this is the team. I think this is the battle where they're actually using my team comp. And I throw in good timing here. So 2 incinerates. You want, if you're a 3-turn move, you want to make sure that you throw on. You throw three 3 bullet seeds for their 2 incinerates, which is good timing. And now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and be able to make it to another grass knot, but we don't make it to another one. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and shield, because I did get earthquaked, and this one is actually trying to earthquake me as well. And look at that, Gus, they're running the same exact team and the same exact move that I was running on my video that I made it to veteran. Link in the description as well if you guys do want to watch that video. So when they do end up hitting us with the feather dance on CMP, which is fine. And now I'm going to be able to make it to another rock weather ball here. Do they want a shield? They don't. They don't have shields. What am I talking about? So at this point, what do? I got to shield, even though we're gonna keep getting more debuffed. And now I make it to another rock weather ball here. At this point, I am going to try to swap out and try to farm down completely, but we don't be able to farm down. But because Castform is actually going to live on 1 HP when we make it to the rock weather ball, and we're going to be able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Thank you for, if you actually did watch the video, I think you did. So I appreciate you using my team. Now we're going to see Vigoroth into our Blaziken. Obviously, this is a very good lead, but we do have to spin the shield. But as you guys can see, we're actually able to farm them down completely in the 1 shield. And then, so now they got, this person actually has another Gus Pidgeot. So I didn't really see too many Gus Pidgeots. Probably this is probably the second one I've seen since I played Sunshine Cup. I think I was like the only person that was actually running Gust on it. So now they do Brave Bird me, which is fine. They got a Steelix in the back, and this is looking not too good for me, but I do make it there a turn before because of the one turn swap. So now I'm going to go ahead and let this go through, knowing it's a breaking swipe. They do end up shielding the first one, which makes it a little bit harder for me. But I'm expecting them to throw right away, and they do end up throwing right away. I'm hoping I can put it in range where 2 grass knots is going to be enough since I'm not debuffed anymore. And looks like it's not going to be enough. This is CMP. So at this point, what do? Do I shield? I do end up shielding, and the reason I do is because I know that they're gonna swap out, and I need this rock weather ball, or not rock weather ball, but this rock slide to KO. It does KO, and now at this point I need to make it to another move. Do we make it to another move? We're actually able to make it to another move, and I go for the BM even though I didn't have to, but we do end up going for the BM and end up winning that game. So now we're gonna hop into the next battle. We're gonna see Blaziken into figure out. This is very good for us as well. As you guys saw, that we can shield once and then farm down completely. I don't have to throw a move. I can shield as like I was saying. And it's not smart to throw a move because most likely they will end up no shielding, and then they end up swapping out into a Macargo. And at this point, I go into my Castform just in case they do have a Swampert back there or something, and I make it to another Rock Weather Ball. Rock throws is going to take forever for them to make it to a move, and they just end up letting it go. So at this point, I'm going to be able to make it to another move before they get to the body slam. Do they want to shield? They do want to shield, which is fine. And do we make it to another move before? Nope, they don't. We don't. So now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and let it go down. And now I'm going to come into Credilli, expecting them to throw right away, but they don't. This could be a bulldoze, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and let it go through. It's just a body slam. And at this point, I'm over farming. I end up catching. This might have been a bad play. And I end up shielding. And in the back is the victory bell. Is Rock Slide going to be enough? It is actually enough to KO. And I'm one away from the next Rock Slide. So it did end up working out somehow. And we're going to be able to win that game. I don't know how we ended up winning that, but we do end up winning it and going 4-1. So like I said, I did have 2 negative sets. Link in the description to my Twitch if you do want to watch the VOD. The VODs stay up there. And yeah, this will be the last Sunshine video I make until probably it comes back, but most likely I probably will be in a different cup. So I will be trying to make YouTube videos for the next couple of days or the next 2 days. Hopefully I can get quite a few teams and climb up so I can get a lot of content for you guys. Because every time I drop a video, it is the sets that I did on Twitch, or if I stream. Like I didn't stream yesterday, but I did stream today. Usually I stream every weekday except for the weekends. So that is why I'm not going to be streaming on the weekend, especially because it is GBL weekend and that's 200 battles. So yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.